I'm the focal person of persons with disabilities in our municipality here in San Juan, Batangas. I myself is a person with disability because I'm a person living with Parkinson's disease. It is as if like I'm dancing every time. I labeled myself dancing queen because of that. Because I'm really dancing all the time. It's very tiring. I walk.
How do we stay afloat in a constantly changing physical world? Mastering our body and mind to transport us through this life, let's talk about strategies to navigate, survive, and thrive with our fellow humans. I am Josh Manoharan, a physiotherapist and a lifelong learner from Manila, Philippines, bringing you conversations about growth and happiness. This is the Adapt and Thrive podcast. With me today is a very special and inspirational guest. Her name is Marites Valencia Odarbe. I met her through my internship program in Batangas when I was still a physical therapy intern there. And we were going through community-based rehabilitation there at the time, wherein we were trying to help the barangay and the municipality to deliver rehabilitation services like physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. So let us welcome Marites. Good afternoon, Marites.
Good afternoon, Josh.
How are you doing today?
Okay. A bit nervous.
A bit nervous. Why?
Yes.
What's on your mind?
I don't know. I just pray that this will go so well.
Okay, I know it will. And I just saw your interview, your recent interview with Chinky Tan and
Yes.
Christine Bersola. Is that a morning show or
Morning show 8.
a morning?
About 8 a.m. morning show.
Okay. So can we start by asking you to introduce yourself? So who is Marites Valencia Odarbe?
Yes. Good afternoon to all of you. I am Marites Valencia Odarbe from San Juan, Batangas. I'm the eldest daughter of Rogelio Valencia and Pastora Valencia, now both deceased. I'm a mother and the wife. I have one beautiful daughter, now 21 years old, and already an author of, she co-authored the book with Brother Bo Sanchez, Shanatina, and other authors. I'm the focal person of persons with disabilities in our municipality here in San Juan, Batangas. I myself is a person with disability because I'm a person living with Parkinson's disease.
So what does a focal person for persons with disabilities do?
Everything about uh, persons with disabilities here in our municipality, I am in charge of that. So,
Okay.
yes, I'm the person with disability affairs office head here in our municipality.
Okay. So what is a typical day for a focal person of PWDs in Batangas?
What is when many PWDs come to my office and would like to register and to have their PWD IDs released. That is the most difficult because many clients come to my office. And sometimes having a Parkinson's disease, it's very difficult.
Also,
Yes. And me as a person,
for you, okay.
sometimes it's hard for me to talk. Sometimes it's hard for me to move. So that when many clients come to my office, that's a very difficult thing for me.
Okay. So mainly, you're saying that mainly the job is to issue IDs, identification
Yes.
cards to PWDs, And currently, what makes it challenging for you is with the condition, it sometimes limits you from performing the job easily. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. Because
Okay.
sometimes I would really like to interact with them a
Right.
little longer, but I could
Hmm.
not because of my condition.
Okay. I have two questions for you. First of all, what does a PWD ID entail, a Filipino? And second, what's it like to be, I mean, it's very broad, but what is it like to be living with Parkinson's disease? So those two.
It is very important to have a PWD ID. Like our goal in our office is to register all the persons with disabilities in our office. If you have an ID, it means you are already registered in our office. And
Mm-hmm.
this PWD card gives you privileges, benefits. There is a law that provides for that, which I would
Mm-hmm.
not like you will have privilege to have a discount in transportation,
Mm-hmm.
in restaurants,
Mm-hmm.
in your medicines, in your checkups.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there's basically there are discounts that can
Yeah.
be availed of. Okay. All right. So
Josh, I
yeah,
didn't
go
get.
ahead.
What is the other
The
question?
second question. Second question is, what's it like to be living with Parkinson's disease?
Oh, what it's very difficult to have. I never imagined that I would be living with Parkinson's disease. I would not want anyone to live with Parkinson's disease because uh, Parkinson's disease greatly affects my movement.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult to wake up in the morning. Simple things like uh, get buttoning your shirt or uh, removing your underwear is very difficult for me to do. Little things things that are very easy for other people. For me, it's already a burdensome activity. It's already very difficult for me to do.
Mm-hmm. How do you manage then? If it is a very, I can imagine, and I empathize with that too. It's like for even a very simple movement of daily
Yeah.
activities is could be physically tiring because the movements, the involuntary movements consume a lot of energy. So I am assuming that it's physically tiring and mentally tiring as well, right?
Yes, it's really about Parkinson's disease. Is you should train your mind. You should learn to train your dragons because like I'm already experienced dyskinesia, uncontrollable movements, which
Mm,
is a result of the peak dose of carbidopa, levodopa. So it is as if like I'm dancing every time. I labeled myself dancing queen because of that. Because as if I'm really dancing all the time. It's very tiring. I've walked 100 miles even if I'm only sitting down.
can imagine. So
Mhm.
it's a bit amusing and inspiring that you're looking at it on a positive note or on a more like you labeling yourself dancing queen. That's great.
Because I don't have a choice. That is the best choice that I could do to look at it in a positive way,
Yeah,
or else I will lose in this life because of this one.
definitely. Okay. How was the journey like? Because what I heard from your interview was this happened in you were in law school at the
Yes,
time. You were reciting. There was a recital, I would assume, or some
yes,
recitation going on, and then you just felt like there was an earthquake,
yes,
and you didn't realize that it was just you who was
yes,
feeling that. So from that moment, what was the journey like until today? Like if we can break it
yes.
down.
I graduated from UP Diliman. In the University of the Philippines, our recitation is you're sitting down. So when I was in Ateneo's law school is different. You have to stand up to recite. So when I was called to recite in Ateneo, I felt that there was trembling, there was an earthquake. But I found out later, and my classmates know that it was I that was trembling, and then they saw my forefinger move. That was the first.
Which one? Which one was moving?
Forefinger.
Forefinger.
Yes. And symptoms it is a progressive disease, so symptoms came in increasingly as time goes by. So it started. The first symptom was in 1992, and I was finally diagnosed to have Parkinson's 1996.
Oh, so it took 4 years to be diagnosed.
Yes, series of tests. Yes.
This is this like for those who are not familiar, Parkinson's disease is degenerative, as you said. You know, it is something that progresses over time.
Yes.
How do people get this?
The cause is not yet known, but some doctors were thinking that in my case I got it from environmental factor, because that time we were selling pesticides.
Okay, as a business, family business.
Yes, pesticides, insecticides.
So this possibly affected the brain. Is that what it is? Okay. Oh, okay. So that is one. And second, it is fairly common to retired boxers, if I'm not mistaken, right?
What? Come again?
This is also common to boxing professionals who retire. Is that correct?
Yes, because in their case, because their head were
right, because of
yeah.
concussions. Okay.
And that time, Parkinson's disease is associated for old age, but now recently young onset are becoming
common
already. Yeah, common.
Okay, so how was the support system when you found out, or from that point until today? What was the support system like within your family and let's say community? And if there was a social or governmental support, what was it like?
From my family, I got all out support. Okay. From the community, they are not aware of, they are not used to seeing this kind of the manifestation that Parkinson's disease can be seen. They are not used to it, so some were fearful when they see having epilepsy or seizure disorders or epileptic attacks. Sometimes I got support from the government. They gave me free medicines. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not continuous.
Right. So it's like, it's not regular. It's whenever available. Now, looking at, now you're working with the local government as the focal person for persons with disabilities. Now, in the Philippine setting, are PWDs empowered in the Philippines?
Not yet fully. Still, many PWDs are afraid to go out. Still,
until now.
Yes. Still, many PWDs or persons with disabilities don't want to be labeled as persons with disabilities. Some of them, their parents are afraid, afraid to tell the world or to the community that they have daughters or sons that with disabilities. Sometimes they cannot accept that they have daughters or sons that with disabilities. There's still that cases.
So is that the first level, which is acceptance, is still a struggle as a society? Why do you think that is the case?
because maybe the stigma or the negative connotation of being a PWD, they don't want to be associated with or labeled as PWD because of the previous connotation, negative connotation
Okay.
associated with PWD.
So if it were up to you, how are you going to change that stigma?
I just want to do the best for myself, and if it will ripple, if I'm not aiming for a heroic act that I will change the notion, but I will just do my best only
Right.
for myself. And if I can be
Okay.
seen positive influence as a symbol for PW, then that's the best thing I can do.
I think so. I think that's heroic in itself, you know, like even as much as you're saying you don't want to you're not expecting like a grand, you know, a grand recognition or anything. I think that's how we change the world, you know, in very little steps that we take as people. If one person is giving out the best that he or she can with whatever, you know, cards we were dealt with, I think that's enough. So I think you're doing a really good job.
I hope so.
How do you envision this year, at least for you?
For me, because I've written a book,
Yeah, okay.
I'm an author of the book Trust is Will. It is a personal journey from being a person with disability to a person of destiny. If people see me as a person, as still a person with disability, I no longer look at myself as PWD, but I consider myself as a person of destiny because I found my purpose. I'm living my life with purpose. So I've written, and my dream now or my goal now is to have my book become an audiobook because since Parkinson's disease is progressive, it might take my voice in the future. At least if I'll make my book an audiobook, then at least I already have will leave a legacy.
Yeah.
Definite legacy for this
Wow. Well, I'm sure, and I think I'm affirming that that's going to happen this year. Audiobook. So, what is a person with destiny? Right.
I call myself a person of destiny because my purpose is to glorify God. And I think that I'm already a person of destiny because in everything I do, I ask His will, and then if I've accomplished it through His help, then I feel that I'm already a person of destiny.
Okay. Yes, beautiful. And I get the where this is coming from as well. My question is, have you encountered people who are not, for example, who are not as religious as you? For those people who have a different belief system, how do you address that? Or can you still be a person of destiny for people who
Yes,
have a different set of beliefs?
you can because even if you have a different religion, you can have a positive outlook in life. Positivity is not according to religion or what, but doing your best in everything you do, having a purpose, a goal is it doesn't need. I don't think a religion dictates that.
Would limit. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, so I already got a lot of great things from you and from you. And first of all, the story itself is really inspiring. And that's I think my takeaway from our quick chat would be doing the best as you can. Doing the best that you can is the only thing we need to do in this life. Like for you as the focal person of persons with disabilities, for me as a physiotherapist, broadcast wannabe or wannabe broadcaster, you know, this is it. Like if individuals would fulfill their destinies in whether they believe in on it from a religious standpoint or not. That's enough. What do you think?
As long as we are breathing, as long as we have breath, we have a purpose. So as long as we live and as long as we're given the chance to wake up in the morning, and we have a purpose to do.
Great. Wow. Okay. So that was a beautiful conversation we had. Now let's talk about your book. So if people want to get access to your book and audiobook, how could they find it? Trust His Will.
Yes, they can chat or me in my Facebook, Marites Valencia Odarbe, or my cell phone number 0966 8000 240.
All right. So contact you directly.
Yes.
Got it. All right.
Thank you,
Okay.
John.
Thank you so much for this. This is my first episode, by the way, for this year. So it was such an honor to have you open this this year for me. So I am wishing you all the best, and I hope that you keep doing the great work that you're doing.
Salamat, Josh.
Salamat at ingat. This has been the first episode of Adapt and Thrive podcast for this 2021. So until next episode, thank you, Tess. Thanks for Tess. Bye-bye.